Thanks, mate. Shane's mixing this there. Good morning. Welcome to Radio Maria Ireland. Father Eamonn with you here. Nice to have your company as always for our morning Chatechesis this Friday morning. Big shout out and a wave to everybody on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. And nice to have your company today, this 26th of March. Now, a special little conversation to be had with you today. A welcome. On video, you'll have seen it already. John Carlin, our president, is sitting opposite me here for the chat. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Father. Good morning, everybody.
Great, welcome. And to anybody who's new to Radio Maria, we do a lot by way of volunteers to the radio. John is our principal volunteer. Is he close enough to the mic there, Shane? Do we need to get him in? Yeah, push yourself in a small bit there. Shane is giving us sort of facial expressions. So very good. So John is a volunteer here at Radio Maria Ireland and is our president and does Trojan work indeed to help keep the machinery oiled and flowing and sort of keeping an eye on the figures and the numbers too. So John, you've been with us over a year or more, year and a half, I suppose now, John.
It's about a year and a half now, yeah. Yeah. Time flies.
Time flies. And you've seen a lot of growth?
Seen a huge growth. You know, it's remarkable actually when you sit back, because it's sometimes you take for granted, you know, the growth or where you're at a particular point in time. But if you were to go back to, I think it was October or November of 2019, we never would have dreamt that we were in the position that we're in today. We had no idea. Like in those days, I think it was maybe 3 staff.
That's right.
Now we have 12 staff, and not only that, but we have a lot more volunteers. You know, who are beginning to come to us now, and we need more. And the big thing is for me now is that we've passed like the first stage of growth, and now we're looking at a second stage of growth, and that second stage is that we start to roll out, you know, to other parts of the country that, you know, people mightn't be that familiar with Radio Maria yet, and to get a really strong base, you know, in every diocese right throughout the country. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's great, and it's already happening, because even these last 6 months, say, we've done a good round of bishops around the country.
Absolutely, and we've been we've got a fantastic reception, you know, from all the bishops that we've met so far, and we were able to meet, I think, the first 2 in person, and since then, since the lockdown, we've been meeting them on Zoom calls or whatever. But they've been very you know, motivational, like, to get us. You know, it's something that I think that everybody involved in the church today in Ireland realizes that there's a real value to having like a Catholic voice on the airwaves. You know, the big thing for me is that we're able to get into homes that maybe the local priests or you know, the people who represent the church in their own parishes, just, you know, because of what's going on at the moment, they're just not able to get into. But not only that, for me, much more important is the fact that when we do, like when Radio Maria gets into somebody's home, it's an authentic Catholic voice, and it's a very gentle voice. Obviously, we're taking that from Our Lady. It's a gentle approach, and the programs are based around, you know, you'll say it yourself, you know, prayer, catechism, and human formation, and it's something I think that everybody can relate to, and you know, like. That's why we're getting the wonderful feedback we're getting. I think I heard you saying yesterday that we got 150 messages back.
It's not typical of a day.
Yeah.
Just this 150 individuals contacting the radio through various means.
Yeah,
huge,
which is absolutely amazing. You know, and you know, I look forward to the day when it's 1,500. You know, and
you've heard that's on camera now, by the way. When I'm in a puddle on the floor.
Well, you know, like it's you know, we
work harder. It's a Pharaoh, and you know,
yeah.
Make more bricks.
No problem. We just need to keep doing what we're doing, I think, and we'll let the Lord do the rest on Our Lady, because I'm fairly certain that this radio station has been blessed.
It is.
You know, like you were saying this morning in your sermon, like the signs are there, and all the signs that we see here are, you know, would point in that direction, that, you know, like this is definitely being blessed by heaven, and it's great, you know, for like somebody like me to be able to come along and be associated with it in whatever way. You know, it's just fantastic. And I said, you know, one of the big things we need now is we need more promoters. We need people on the ground, and it's, you know, it's not. We're not, you know, it's not a highbrow position. You know, it's just to be there, to be seen. You know, to lift the phone, to ring people and ask them, you know, if they'll get involved, or, you know, like a simple thing. You know, can you ask your parish priest if he'll allow like a Radio Maria presence on their parish bulletin or on their social media. And that's the time. It's a very gentle approach, and it's that's the way that we'll get this radio station and the good news into every home in the country. And that's the aim. It's nothing short of that. Because it's to make sure that everybody who needs, and we all need it, everybody who needs to hear the good news has access to the good news and knows that they have access to the good news. Because very often people don't know they're there, and that's we've come across that so often. People who have come across us on Searview by mistake because they went forward instead of back, or back instead of forwards. We're just in one up from RT, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So it's just simple things like that, and just to let people know that we're here, and let the Lord do the rest.
Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
So John has joined me this morning, just for our viewers as well, to just share a few moments with you and all our dear listeners as to reflect on the marvellous blessings and the growth certainly that we have enjoyed, and how providential this gift has been, and to reflect also that your involvement as prayer support, as promotion support, as John's just referring to there. John, you're visiting up around the north and getting involved and having people on the ground, doing a small little thing here and there, just letting others know, and the financial support. All of these come together, and it's the radio station belongs to you as a listener, and we're here simply at your service. I'm very happy to be so, and the amount of positive feedback that's coming in is an expression to what you refer to yourself, John, in your accounting terms, your business terms, as value. Not that you can put a price on the gift of faith.
No, you can't. No, you can't put a price on the gift of faith, but you can put a cost on it, because if it's not there, we see what happens when when people or societies or families, whatever it is, lose faith. So from that perspective, we can put a value on it. There is a real value in our faith, and our faith has been tested over and over again, and it's withstood the test of time. Whereas a lot of the let's say the ideologies, or whatever you want to call them, who were challenging our faith, are no longer around. So there is a real value in our faith, and it gives us a real sense of peace, and and there's a strength in it, and that's unfortunately that's what's lacking in a lot of people's lives today. They've got no peace, and they've no peace because they've lost that sense of faith. And that's what when I say when you're able to turn on Radio Maria at home, at any time during the day, or indeed during the night. Like I know of people who have trouble sleeping at night time, and they can turn on Radio Maria and they get that gentle message coming across, or the prayer time coming across, and it gives them a lot of peace and a lot of succor. And the one thing I can say without fear of contradiction is that there's a real sense of family in Radio Maria here in Ireland. And so everybody who's listening is a member of the family, and and so is everybody who's not listening. They're a member of the family as well. They just don't know it yet. And and that's the real sense. Like when you walk into this building, there's a sense of peace here, and it's been accentuated now in the last few weeks because we've got the Blessed Sacrament here as well. So it's all for me. This is all it's really good, solid. I think the word that you use is organic growth, and it's not it's something that's going to be maintained. It's built on solid foundations, and our job now is to make sure that as it rolls out right throughout the country, that again that we ensure that those principles and that charism stays the same, and that we just build on the work that's already been done.
Mm-hmm. And part of our chat here this morning really is to exercise a little bit of accountability. I kind of like that idea myself, of just saying, look, for all those who do give so generously, here's what we're doing with your resources. Lovely example. I don't know if you met Pat Brennan. He was in yesterday. He's been in a couple of days. He's a man who's been listening in since 2017 or 18, and just kind of got attached to us a bit. But he offered some time ago to take on our security services, the key holding and monitoring, that side of things, which you need for insurance purposes, of course. And he said he'd do it for us free of charge. He was in yesterday getting the swap over done, and marvellous, lovely man. He loves listening to the radio, and so he's again as a member of the family, just giving his skills and his resources to help save us a few bob on the area security. I just love that idea that listeners can feel that, look, it's yours if you have skills to bring to the family. You know, come on in and share them.
And it's, like, and one of the I suppose one of the downsides to the current situation is that it's harder for people to actually do that. But in saying that, like, what I think what's happening is in a lot of homes around the country is that they're now becoming like little oratories. That that people are beginning to pray more at home, let's say, than going out. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like it's probably the next best thing. Like there's nothing going to ever replace being able to go to church, for the sacraments. But like what people are doing now is they're saying, well, if I can't do that, for as long as I can't do that, I'm going to sit and pray at home. And here they have the constant companionship of people on the radio here. There's people coming forward to as I say, to help. It's brilliant to hear about the likes of Pat coming forward. Indeed, we have a few volunteers, who are actually doing that as well as we speak. There's actually one of them downstairs at the minute who's helping out in a huge way with our communications as well.
Video. It's just
It's
take off as people can see.
Well, as people exactly. Like I was just saying to William and Nuria that like if I had sat here, if somebody had told me 12 months ago that we sitting here in front of essentially a TV and talking, and it's not even that, it's the quality of the production. The quality is just, it's unreal to think that that this is actually happening now in this time. I wouldn't have believed them, but again it's happened, and as I say, that's just another sign of, listen lads, this place is blessed. So and I'd just like to say thank you to Pat as well, and to every other volunteer who's actually out there, who's helping and who's praying. The big thing, if I can say this, don't stop praying, keep praying, because that's actually what's going to take this on, and it's going to, as I say, I would love to see Radio Maria as part of the Irish DNA. Like that's it's always been my thought that. Ireland, as a country, and I don't mean the land, I mean the people. That the people belong to Our Lady. Like she's the Queen of Ireland, and it's up to her. She wants that back, and it's up to us as as people working, or we put ourselves forward, let's say in Radio Maria or the Legion of Mary or whatever Catholic agency we're working for. But it's our job to do that, and nothing short of that will be sufficient. Like it's all or nothing. And like I think we've made a really good start here, with other agencies as well, obviously. But I think that needs to be the mindset, going forward, that it's all or nothing. I remember a guy used to train a football team up at home. His mantra was, total faith, no ifs, no buts, no maybes. So, and that's the way it is here.
Very good. Well, it's great to just rejoice in that. I suppose to celebrate the gift of the radio. Aidan's given us a crib sheet in case we run out of ideas and things to talk about. I might just mention John's area of expertise for those again who are new is accounting, and you've been a great blessing, I might say, John, in that department since you came first, and it was adoration that actually brought you here to speak on the microphone. Originally, it'd be interesting to listen back to that conversation.
That was 2018.
That's right, amazing. And we were in need of help back then, I knew it well, so it was Providence indeed sent you this way. But you lent that experience to us here, and it's good for us again, like I said, I do like the idea of accountability for everything that's given to us, because we hold everything in trust, we're stewards, and it's your resources that we're using and that we're capitalizing on to the glory of God. And the relationship in terms of grace, and God is never outdone in generosity. Our little 5 loaves and 2 fish are relatively small, and the Lord just magnifies that to feed thousands. And we can certainly see that happening here, I think, John. So.
Yeah. Well, like not only have we had a huge increase in the number of listeners, I'm just looking at some of the statistics here. Like our listenership, in the last 12 months, for 30 to 60 minutes, which is usually the prayer time, has gone up by 326%. Now, I don't want to bamboozle people with statistics, but that's just a reflection of of the increase in the number of people who are actually listening in. We know from the social media platforms that we have people listening in at least 116 countries. which again is amazing to think that we can sit here, in Dublin, and that there's people in another 115 countries actually listening in. And we had the privilege of speaking to the Archbishop of Los Angeles on St. Patrick's Day. And here we have it, there's one of our own, and he's an Archbishop in Los Angeles, but he had to literally get up and head off and spend a large chunk of his life living in another country. We can actually do it from here. Now, not to the same, not in the same way, obviously, but the fact is that we're able to have like a mission aspect to what we're doing. Just from sitting here in the comfort of a radio station in Dublin, which is it's when you sit and think about the prospects of what we have in front of us. There's no limit to it. The only limit that there can be in that is the limits that we put on it ourselves. And what I'm saying is there's no limits here. We need to roll this out, and we need to do it in such a way that if in 10 years' time, if you're not here or if I'm not here, Radio Maria is here. So when we hand it on to the next generation, it's in a very healthy state. And again, talking about the next generation, it's great to see them here as well. It's fantastic. But that's on the listener side of it. On the financial side of it, I'm just looking here at some of the figures. Like the donations from the listeners has gone up by 2.5 times. I'm guessing, from in 2019 it was, I'm talking in fairly round figures here now. It's gone up from 300,000 up to nearly 400,000, which is a huge increase. And it's sorry, I've got that wrong actually.
That doesn't sound altogether.
That includes the contributions from Italy.
From Italy,
it's gone from 100 from our, let's say, from our Irish listeners, or from people who are our listeners. Sorry, it's gone from 130,000 to 312,000, which is a huge increase. And I'm sure, again, you're seeing it every day. People are ringing up. People are sending in, letters, and donations, and it's just magnificent to see that, because it's good to get the money. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's even better to get the confirmation that what you're actually doing is being appreciated, and that's where we come back to the value. As people really understand that, that the work and the value of the work that's going on here, and they see it. And I'm hoping that anybody who's listening or anybody who's contributing see it as their radio station. It's not mine, it's not yours. It's their radio station, and it's here for their benefit and for the benefit of their families and their communities as well. So that type of increase is it's pretty startling now. If you're looking at it, if this was a commercial operation, we'd be popping open champagne and all the rest of it, but it's not. But we're all pioneers. So it's not. So the one thing I'd like to just to reinforce here is that when this money comes in, the way we, as far as we look at it, it's Our Lady's money. So we have a real responsibility to ensure that it's spent the way she wants it spent and the way she would spend it. And I remember reading somewhere where it said that she was a very good housekeeper. So we would like to think that we're the same, and just to reassure everybody that there's not a penny wasted here.
Did Jesus learn that from his mother? See that nothing gets wasted.
Yeah.
Imagine her say, "No, eat up those crusts."
Yeah. Probably he would have learned that from my mother as well. There would have been, there was very little waste, I can assure you. But that's one side of the equation, I suppose. When you see the money that's come in, the other side of it is, let's say 12 months ago we had 3 employees, and now we've got 12. So obviously there's been a big increase in overheads as well, whereas before we were running at a monthly deficit of around, say, I think it was around 15,000 we were getting, but there was a contribution bundled in, a shortfall, let's say. It's now down to about 10. So that's really, that's the overall headline, that we're not self-sufficient yet, but we're working towards that. And and it's not by one-off big contributions that this has been achieved. It's by a lot of people contributing like whatever they can afford, and it's making a huge difference, I can assure you. And we would like to think that as we roll it out, as there more promotion work, as we're getting more let's say involved in local parishes and reaching out to other dioceses, that will continue. That the let's say the shortfall that we have at the moment, that we'll be able to make that up. And I no doubt that will happen. By the way, it's not taking anything for granted. It's in fact we don't take anything for granted. But maybe if I can say, the only thing that I take for granted is that this, again, I'm repeating myself, but that this radio has been blessed. And if we know that if God wants this to happen, if Our Lady wants this to happen, she'll make sure that it happens. And and I'm, as I say, I'm fairly convinced that that's the path that we're on. And long may it continue.
Amen. And there's a lot of lovely highlights there. And just to echo again, the one is to have the young people working with us now, and giving them employment in a Catholic environment, and seeing them come forward with their skills. The Ignite Conference last Saturday was a lovely highlight, I must say, of the energy and enthusiasm of the youth, so that those who are, as it were, investing in the radio, your contributions effectively are really fueling or oiling again the sort of the machine, if you like, that Our Lady is wielding to really light a new fire for our country and where we can reach.
I was actually delighted to listen into the conference last Saturday, and again for me it was just a confirmation that the people who have come forward to actually work here, that we've got the right people. To be honest with you, I didn't know young people like that existed. That level of faith and commitment, and the willingness just to roll up the sleeves. It's just fantastic to see it. And again, like when you're working with people like this, it makes things so much easier. And it's a pleasure, actually. It's a pleasure to come here and to do your bit of work or whatever it is. And it's not all work either. Like there's a bit of fun in it. There's a great sense of crack. Dare I say it around here as well. So no, it was great to see that. And again, that's where the future of the church lies. And and I'm fairly certain that there's already a deep rooted faith in all these younger people. Let's say Sarah had the audacity to refer to me as one of the older people last week.
Yeah, she was equating me with her father recently as well. It's like, I ain't that old.
But that's where we're at. So but it's great to see it, because it means that that the church will continue to grow and and it will continue to spread, and it's in good hands.
Amen to that, yes. And just in terms of all the wonderful offerings and support we're receiving, if you're a regular listener, you already realise and see the growth is going. You can it's quite tangible. But our live programming, about 64 hours of live programming now each week, and Monday to Friday, about 84% of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is live. And the plan going forward in terms of growth now as well is to keep stretching those hours and keep increasing the live interaction. As you know well, I'm a great advocate of people joining us for prayer and just, again, animating you that it's your support that enables us to keep growing. And without that, we simply couldn't happen. And just such a blessing to bring all the prayer, the Holy Mass, the Divine Office, the Rosary each day, and the lovely family rosaries at nice moments. Some new shows as well. Bishop Fonzie is joining us each morning with a little reflection there. He prepares himself. Faith Under Fire is another lovely one. Talitha Coombe, the girls on Monday evening, and Brenda and Joe then on Saturday as well for a young men's show too. And lots of new presenters joining us, priests. We'll hear new voices all over the place in our special broadcasts. We had the Rosary from Nazareth yesterday. Really nice high point there again. And their priest director actually died only last week. He was a man, probably a Father Michael Ross kind of story, really. A man on the 60 mark. He was a Greek Orthodox and a married man with children as well. So he helped the radio get going in Nazareth. They're only going a year or two. Very sad there, but he should be. And they've like 2 or 3 staff there, like we were a while back. It just my heart goes out to them really. So if our new website is in the oven and hopefully being prepared. We've over 2,500 podcasts. We've gone over 18,000 followers on Facebook now as well. That's growing all the time. And Twitter and Instagram are coming forward. The young gang are really starting to get riled up on that. We've been doing videos for that lately too. And the live content here on video each day is a nice addition since the new year. We've introduced this, and I think we'll probably keep building and growing on this too. You know. So Sarah is playing a blinder on the promotion, as you mentioned, just getting in touch with bishops and contacts all over the map now at this stage, and growing, and we need lots more of that, as you mentioned. And in the last year or so, with all our boosting on social media, the figures tell us we've at least reached whatever exactly that qualifies as, but 250,000 people have sort of clicked or touched or swiped or shared.
An amazing statistic of over 2 million minutes of listenership on the app alone, I think. An incredible statistic.
And in terms of the World Family and all the other radio stations, I think we're punching way above our weight. We're certainly up in the top 10 or 20 and whatever the statistics are of all the 85 stations. So we really are starting to come into our own. And I think becoming a bit of a household name in its own way too. And people are quite delighted to meet and put faces to the names as well. So there really is an extraordinary, it is a book or something should be written or something. I don't know how we account for it, but this is an attempt.
Yeah, and to be honest, I look forward to the day that people can come here and and visit the radio station. Just before we went into lockdown and all, I remember there was a group up from Carlow, I think, and it was a group of legionaries, and it was fantastic to see them come in here, to join us at mass, and then to sit down afterwards and have a cup of tea and a scone or whatever it is. And really looking forward to those days again, because that's when people get the real sense of ownership, when they can come and see, and as you say, put a face to
the adoration, please God, John, into the future.
Oh no, that's as long as I'm preserved, that's up there,
top of the agenda.
No, absolutely, because that's where all the grace comes from. There's a real need for it now at the moment. And it's been a real need for a long time now. For reparation and renewal, not only in the church but in the country and the world. It's like some of the stuff that's going on at the minute is just,
dire need for prayer.
Yeah. So we'll start punching back.
There'll be a resurrection once the restrictions lift, and our plan is to have 24-hour adoration here with God's help and with your help to come and join us. We managed it for a little bit of Lent last year. It was a nice moment too to recall for whatever days it was. Ash Wednesday to today, actually, the 26th of March. This day last year. Oh, when everything gets shut down.
Everything shut down.
That was the date.
That was the date, yeah. And I will be back. It's that's, as you say, that's up there. That's the number one priority to get the adoration going again. It's just wonderful to be able to sit there in the presence of the Lord, and it's
maybe if people could send in their names, if they want to just be put on a short list.
Absolutely,
we can just put you on reserve, and when the time opens up again.
Absolutely, no, and I know this has been mentioned on a load of other shows as well. But we've got the Divine Mercy Novena starting on Good Friday, and just from my own experience, very often people get to Good Friday and it's sort of sprung on them, or it's gone off their radar as such. But if people need Divine Mercy Novenas prayer cards, let us know. Just text in your name and address, and we'll get them straight back to you. Or you just
Sarah, I asked Sarah for one of those early on as well. The lovely St. Joseph prayer cards, and we've had 4 of these printed, 4 different types, and you can collect the set. But they're beautiful images with 4 different prayers to St. Joseph that we're promoting, and we're just sort of releasing one a month kind of thing. But this one, there's 2,500 of these printed of each one, and this is nearly gone. Sarah,
there's one of my friends store at home.
There you go. There you are.
It's a beautiful card, and there's a lovely prayer as well. Obviously, in the year that's in it, So, it's all, we're all, we're not naive, but, things are going way above what we had planned for. With the help of God, that's the way it'll continue to go.
Sure. So really a huge word of thanks to all our supporters. We're just so immensely grateful, and we just give thanks to God. And like Our Lady, my soul magnifies the Lord. Look what's coming to us here. We're simply using every last drop of it to magnify the Lord, to bring the Lord to so many more people. So we're immensely grateful to so many listeners for small amounts and large amounts alike that have been given financially. And then the great work that's going on just in promoting all over the place. People are just doing their own little bit to spread it, and your prayers are absolutely essential. But maybe just to invite listeners, and we'll repeat this and make it part of a little sermon on the amount, as we like to call it here. If people would like to help us financially, maybe just a word of encouragement there, John, and the ways to do it.
Well, there's different ways to do it. Obviously, it would be fantastic if people could see themselves to supporting us financially. There's you can do a bank transfer. You can set up a regular standing order, which makes my life so much easier because it means that I can budget better. And there's people who send in donations, cash donations, checks, postal orders. You can do them as Stripe, is it?
Run through the website.
Through the website,
page on the website is the way of doing it.
Yeah.
Give a call here. We could do it with you over the phone.
Or you just ring up and we can do it over the phone. But there's numerous ways of doing it. But whatever way suits whoever it is wants to make the donation. We'll do our best to accommodate you.
Sure, great. Yeah. And the best of all, and as you said, most helpful of all, is a regular standing order. And I would suggest that a small amount on a regular basis. And if a lot of people have done, nobody should be under any duress or pressure. It's not a hard sales talk by any means. It's simply become part of the body of people that are helping to support this work and allow it to grow and build. And directly from your bank. Whereas if we go through the websites worth mentioning, there's a fee that they charge these service providers. Stripe is the name of the one we use. PayPal is another one, and I don't know, there's a few others out there. But they'll take 3% or something from the donation. That's why these guys are billionaires. This is what if you want to go down that conversation, these people. Anyway, it's the service they provide is for the convenience. So straight from your bank to ours is the easiest way. We have, I think, just about 225 or so listeners who very kind of have standing orders straight through the bank and through the website too. And there's about 5,500 or 6,000 coming in through a month. And we that based on the costs you've been saying there, that needs to grow considerably to really help us.
No, and it will. It's and the other contribution people can make as well is their time. It's the time. Again, somebody told me once that the best thing you can give is your time because you can't get it back.
Correct. That's charity because you can't get it back. That's real charity.
That's real charity. So if people are willing to give their time, drop a text or make a phone call, and we'll be straight back to you. It's great. It's like one of the great volunteer comes up here every Saturday and every Sunday morning, and I'm tuning in now on Saturday mid mornings just to listen to a bit of the Kyola crack. So
he's come on leaps and bounds, really.
Yeah. And it's brilliant. Like it really is. It's there's a real sense of joy around it. On a Saturday, when you could be listening to the drone and the mundane reality of the bad news. You've got a guy there, and it is real Kyola and it is real crack. So that's just an example. As I say, if anybody wants to come along or really wants to be part of the team, just drop us a line or give us a phone call, whatever, and don't worry, we'll be straight back to you.
Yeah, sure. So again, just the reassurance that every last drop, every penny that comes in here is being used to its maximum capability and capacity, and everything that comes in here goes straight back out the door, where it's not profit making, it's with no interest in finances per se. It's simply to allow this wonderful apostolic movement to grow, of which each and every person, whether you're listening in or praying in or you're all a part of it. It belongs to you. Just to keep that before you. And we're very happy to be at your service.
Yeah, I think every euro that comes in the door here, we make it sweat.
That's right. That's right.
So and that's the
very good, excellent.
That's the way we do it.
So good. So listen, do get in touch with us. If you want to give a call, Mary's on the phone downstairs right now, 014-123-456, 014-123-456. Again, if you're in the north or outside of Ireland, plus 353 14-123-456. A text and a WhatsApp too on 089-467-2000 and email info@radiomaria.ie. And by all means do write to us as well. We're here at St. Anthony's Business Park, Ballymount Road, Dublin 22. So we do love to hear from you. So listen, John, just thanks a million for coming into us. Thanks for all the work you're doing.
Listen, as I say, God's been good to me. It's a bit of payback. So, no, I'm delighted to be here. And I'd just like to say thanks to all the listeners, and long may you remain listeners.
Indeed, do stay with us. We look forward to meeting you all in the life to come. There'll be a special Radio Maria corner, I'm sure, and a few others to boot.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the silent room, I think, for a little while anyway, and then I'll come out and I'll say hello.
I remember you mentioned Father Ross. I don't know if I ever told you before, but I was at a Legion meeting one night in the Morning Star, and Father was talking about when he was getting to heaven, and one of the lads said to him, "You're very sure you're getting to heaven, Father, aren't you?"
There's another great story actually. Frank Duff told it. I know the back of the Morning Star Chapel. The Morning Star Hostel is a hostel for homeless men here in Dublin. It's a wonderful place of ministry to the poor and the homeless. But there's a little framed. I think they put it into the last case now, with a list of all the names of all the residents, the homeless men that have died,
that's still there.
And, it's still there, and they've added there's how many names in it now? I don't know, 500 names on it. I counted them one day. But back in the 50s or 60s, I don't know what, when Frank Duff was alive, Frank used to come in and add the names, and he'd write them in. And he was writing them in, and all the lads were gathered around to this little ceremony of writing the next name of the poor man who had died. And they had a plot actually in the Glasnevin Cemetery for all those men who died. They had their own free plot. It was lovely what they used to do for them, and still do, in fact. But anyway, they were gathered around. He's writing in this name, and somebody comes, sure, would you look at all those fellas up there? Sure, if they're all in heaven, it must be one hell of a place.
And you some of those guys that say if they're in heaven, there's a bit of a party going on up there.
There is, yeah. I don't know if a little more recent names on there.
Yeah.
Michael Murphy, a few of these wonderful saints. Yeah.
Absolutely. Where would you get them?
And I'm quite convinced that if Frank Duff were alive, he'd be here at another microphone, I think, and joining in with us. And
no, I'm certain of that. From what I know of the man, I'd be certain of that. And he would be using every modern tool to evangelise, which is what's going on here. He wouldn't be behind the door now. When it came to getting the good news out there. So,
it's interesting that he never did TV interviews in his lifetime. The only one time he did go to the press publicly was in the 60s when they were threatening to close down the Regina Coeli hostel, and he went public on that. And I know it was on the radio at that time, but he certainly wrote letters to the papers. But he refused otherwise to get involved in secular media, except when some legionaries came from the United States with cameras and so on. And he sat down in front of their cameras and they couldn't stop him talking. So certainly this would have been right up his street.
No, this would have been, I've no doubt about that.
So anyways, listen, thanks a million, John.
No, thank you for
all you're doing. God bless you, it's great. And again, it's nice to share this moment on Facebook and YouTube with you visually, as it is indeed audibly on the microphone too, so that you get a sense of where we're at. And hoping maybe going forward we'll have a little moment like this, maybe once a month or something, just to keep everybody up to date and to assure you that we're so grateful for all your support. And I'd like to assure you of a place in our prayers every day. Every day I'm mindful of our benefactors during the office and during Holy Mass each day to lift you all up to the Lord, and there'll be greater rewards going around heaven, I think, when the time comes.
And can I just say, Father, just on behalf of myself and the listeners and all the staff, thanks to you as well for all the work that you put in here. It's Trojan work.
I'm having a great time, John. Sure, if I was in lockdown, I'd be twiddling my thumbs. What will I next learn on the piano?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. So Shane, have we a piece of music lined up? He's giving me a nod there. So again, 089 467 2000. Email info@radiomaria.ie, 014 123 456. And drop a comment, drop a like, drop a share on social media too. And keep an eye out for some lovely videos coming through the pipeline for Easter coming up very soon as well. And after Easter too. So lots more to come. So Shane, a little piece of music. Thanks a million. And back with you very short. And we're still live on the camera here, so you have to be very nice.
Oh, do I? Are we still being recorded?
We're live, yeah.
All right, okay.
So it goes on.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway,
you happy with that?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
So we'll chat later.
We'll meet at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I better get back because I better get the sun. Are we still on this?
We're still on this, yes. You've got to be nice and smile and wave.
Okay. And how long will we be in this
life? Well, you may take your leave. They won't mind if somebody exit stage.
Okay.
I'll carry on.
Okay.
So,
no problem. See you, lads.
God bless you, John.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Now I might do a change of focus for you there, just to fix the microphone. Yeah. Here we go. You won't mind if I move you there. How's this looking? Kind of. Or not? There we go. Push you in a bit more there, lads. Alrighty. That's good. Just like that right there. Oop. This is yesterday's water, yeah. Tastes alright. And the leftovers go into the plants. See the orchid behind me there. Yeah, here we go. Texture I want to touch in. Oh, there you are. There's Dana for you. Beautiful piece of music indeed, and very appropriate indeed for our consecration to Jesus through Mary yesterday, the 25th of March, the Feast of the Annunciation. So now, thanks for your company here on Radio Maria Ireland. Thanks to John joining us very kindly. He's getting more comfortable, I think, at the microphone now, becoming a bit of a natural himself. It's always a bit nervous in the beginning, coming on the microphone and coming on the radio and thinking, who might be listening, or what will they say, or what will they think? But sure, no worries at all. We work away naturally ourselves here. So thank you for that, and just our opportunity really to update. And I just really like this idea of accountability and sharing with you some of the figures and letting you know that everything that's received here is given, entrusted, and we're very careful to make sure that it's all well accounted for and acknowledged and well spent too. And that's a work in progress, If it is that for one reason or another, perhaps maybe you haven't received an acknowledgement or a receipt, do please get in touch with us. We do have some donors, actually, that we have names or we have codes, but we don't know who you are, where your address is. And I just thank you now for your kind offerings. If you're one of those who, again, we don't have your contact details, you haven't heard from us, why not give us those details, and we'll be more than happy just to send you a little thank you and a word of appreciation. And maybe our little prayer leaflets and things that we have free. There's an up-close version now of the St. Joseph prayer card for you, my face. But we have these to give away. So, again, many thanks indeed, really appreciate it. So thanks to Christine, who's watching us here and sends us greetings on Facebook too. Excuse me, and Zita as well. And Ulrika likes that nice expression too, that Radio Maria become part of the Irish DNA. Very appropriate in the light of the vaccines or the injections that people are receiving, which is of the genetic order, sort of gene therapy, I understand, is what goes on there. So if we can do the same injecting of spirituality into the bloodstream of the Irish, it's already there. I know we're well, we have the blood cells for our faith. It's written in the Irish history and psyche and everything, as our nation steeped in it. We can't so easily extract it. So it's a case of reviving that maybe and rekindling it, and please God, with your help, we'll continue to exactly that. So thanks for that. So Dermot was in touch from Bray. After the Office of Readings, he says, Father Fergus said, this was this morning, Father Fergus Cummins was on with me, that we can mark Easter at home and take advantage of the lockdown to pray more and read the sacred scriptures. So he was simply echoing that. Yes, it's a terrible disappointment that we cannot gather in our churches for Holy Mass and the celebration of the Easter ceremonies, the Holy Week especially, but that here's an opportunity at home. In 2013, when I lived in Scotland, Dermot says, I was fortunate to spend Easter with the Benedictine community at, I'm never quite sure how to pronounce that, Plucarden, I think it's pronounced, but literally plus Carden. It's Plucarden, it's pronounced, Plucarden Abbey in the Diocese of Aberdeen. And lockdown, he says, reminds me of that time. There's more time when you're restricted like that, or you're enclosed, for prayer, for Lectio Divina, and for spiritual reading. And more time especially for silence. That's a commodity that's in short supply. But the restrictions are giving us that opportunity, really. Apart from hearing Holy Mass, apart from the, I suppose, hearing Holy Mass on the radio, Radio Maria facilitates us in following the divine office. So that's true. And we would seek to be, in some kind of simulated way, perhaps, a monastic community of sorts. We're not bound by vows, we're not wearing any habit, we're not, but there's a regime or a regimen there throughout the day. If you want to join in for prayer each of these times, you can set your alarm and join us for the various offices, for the Rosary, for Holy Mass too. So it's great, it is that and all of that. So again, sincere thanks, and great really that we have your fellowship and your support and your encouragement for all we're doing. So again, please do get in touch if you're one of those who has not yet maybe thought about or in the process of a little almsgiving towards our work here. Happy to let you know that everything you give here is certainly put to maximum effect and use, and simply is just echoed back out in terms of faith, really. And like John said, please God, the time will come soon when we can welcome visitors here to the studio. Please God that we can establish adoration here for a number of hours, if not 24 hours. We did so for Lent last year. As I say, today was the day it all had to come to a halt last year. And we were heartbroken that the virus kicked in. We were doing well. We had so many days of adoration done. Or what? No, actually maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it wasn't the date, because I'm trying to, my memory was different. Because I contracted the virus on 17th of March. No, I've got my numbers wrong, because, yes, I know about the 26th is confusing me, yes. There was 26 days of adoration were done. So it wasn't the 26th of March that we sorry about that. 26 days that we concluded of the 40 days. Anyway, with God's help and in time, we certainly are waiting in joyful hope for that to resume. And we can do it here naturally with limited numbers and restrictions if that's necessary, that's permissible. Again, when restrictions lift, we'll be very happy to facilitate that too. So now, very good. Great then to have your company, and thanks for sharing these moments with me. Not so much of a Chatechesis moment, but maybe a kind of missionary moment for you today, that you are very much part of the mission of Radio Maria, and we're glad to have your company, and this mission is going strong. Thanks be to God. And we need more help. We need more help. And the financial help, please God, we trust that it will come, but we rely very much on you. There's still a deficit that we're seeking to meet, but it's a good deficit because If it was that we were still at that small staff, it wouldn't be a deficit at all. The fact we've grown our staff, we have all these wonderful young people with us, it just means that the deficit, we've narrowed the deficit a little bit, but we've got a lot more outgoings happening at the same time. So it just marks most extraordinary growth. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. So great, our time is coming to a close. Do please stay in tune with us for today. I have the schedule for the rest of today. We'll have the Rosary, of course, at 12:30 after our midday prayer and your say with Aisling at 12:15. And then Ollie Clark will join us for his lunchtime show at 1. We'll have Ignite Conference highlights at 2. But I must check with the lads if there's room, maybe today or maybe tomorrow, to put in the readings and the homily I've put together for Radio Maria in the world, Radio Maria English-speaking radio stations, broadcast reflections from other English-speaking stations, sharing with each other, and principally around the African English station. We had quite a number of African stations tuning into us yesterday, actually, to our signal for the Rosary from Nazareth. That was nice. I just checked some of the radios there. I think Tanzania, Malawi, some of those where they have English. Great, marvellous to be sharing like that. So we'll see about that Lectio for Sunday's readings today or tomorrow. We'll have the Stations of the Cross followed by the Catholic Heritage Association talks. That'll be at 3 o'clock. John and Patsy Skelly will join us there too. And Brendan and Tara will come to the mic at 4:30 for Lectio there as well. Evening prayer at 5. Rosary then at 5:30 after the news. Talitha Cum repeat at 6:10. That's Aisling and Chrissy's lovely show for young women. Father John live for the Catechism in a Year at 7. The Sodality of Our Lady Radio Hour with Thomas Murphy at 8. And live Rosary for Ireland with Father Marius and with Kathy Sinnott at 9. So lots there to look forward to and lots to share. Again, do please keep interacting with us. Now I'll take my leave of you on the video format here, and I'll join you again, please God, tomorrow. Do please keep it tuned. Just click on the Listen Live link on Facebook there and you'll be able to join us as well, audibly for the Rosary and Midday Prayer. Thanks, Shane.